Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has ruled out a broader ceasefire in Gaza unless the nearly 240 hostages taken by Hamas are freed. The families of some of those taken captive were in Brussels to ask EU lawmakers to help secure the release of their loved ones.
Eitan is just 12 years old. The last time he was seen alive was on the day Hamas militants broke into his home in Kibbutz near Oz on October 7. He was driven into Gaza on the back of a motorcycle. This is his aunt, Ayala. She has a special bond with him because he was born on her 30th birthday.
He loves animals. All his pictures is with animals. He sees the weak. I hope that he gets the strength to help the weak there. I know that Eitan is alive. I know.
Eitan's father, Ohad, has also not been seen since the day of the attack. In the chaos of the violence, the family were separated. It's believed he's also being held in Gaza. This is just one family's story. Others are here too. They've come to the European Parliament to ask for help to get their loved ones released. Yoni Asher's wife and daughters, who are 4 and 2 years old, are German citizens.
Is this passport, German passport, it's a piece of paper? It has any value? If it's just a piece of paper, why does people need it?
The families delivered passionate pleas, and the message was heard.
They want also the European Union, the European institutions, our countries, to be involved in the negotiations to release them. We have to be part of that. European politicians, members of the Commission, from the Council, that we all have to do our part also in this process.
Why has Europe not been doing that?
I think that right now is the Israeli government who is doing these negotiations. I don't know, but I think that we should ask to be also part of this.
For Ayala, every day that passes is a day too long.
I can't even find the words of what I'm feeling. Ohad is my older brother. I admire him. He's my best friend. I miss him. And Eitan, he's just a small boy that I can't believe that he's on these monsters' hands. We are in a nightmare.
But she still has hope. It's help she's asking for.
And earlier I spoke to our correspondent Rebecca Ritters in Jerusalem, and I asked her about reports that talks are underway involving the potential release of several hostages in return for a temporary pause in fighting.
Well, despite that, we're hearing that the talks are ongoing. Israel, of course, not directly involved in the talks with Hamas, but working through intermediaries from Qatar and Egypt. They have been instrumental in the hostage releases that have happened so far. Unfortunately, we've not seen many. And of course, there's hope that there will be more. Now, this particular deal involves about 10 to 15 people, we believe, that they are said to, that they will release in return for a 48 to 72-hour ceasefire in hostilities in order to allow for aid to be brought into Gaza Strip. As you say, Israel continues to say that they have no intention of any ceasefire until all the hostages have been released, but they are under a lot of pressure to make sure that the hostages, or all of the hostages, come out alive. So I think if a deal were presented to them where some hostages were able to come out, they would consider it, despite words to the contrary. But at the moment, all we know is that these talks we're hearing are ongoing, but getting accurate information about just where they're at is incredibly difficult.
Rebecca, the Israeli military says that tens of thousands are now fleeing from northern Gaza because Hamas has, quote, lost control there. What's the latest on the offensive?
Yeah, well, we're seeing those pretty extraordinary images of thousands of people fleeing from the north to the south. Yesterday, we saw around about 50,000 people making that treacherous journey. Now, these so-called safe routes are open for several hours during the day, and they have been for a couple of days now, though yesterday was the largest number that we've seen, as I said, about 50,000, up from around 15,000 people the day before. Now, militarily, we know that the military have for a couple of days now encircled Gaza City, and they're starting to make that push into the city. They've also completely cut off the north from the south, and so they say that Hamas has lost control in the northern part of the Strip. They also this morning have said that they've made headway, and they've in fact taken over a stronghold in the Jabalia refugee camp, a Hamas stronghold, I should say. So, you know, they're pushing ahead with their military aims, but these so-called safe routes, these safe corridors, have been open for several hours each day, and as you can see, people trying to make the most of them, though as we know, even when they get to the south, these areas are not safe, and in fact there really is no safe place for people in Gaza.